Hi everybody, my name is Rheda and this is Health Naturally. Health Naturally has been on for at least a year now, and lots of people have taken the hair analysis that I've broadcast about. The hair analysis is truly a wonderful test that people can find out whether they need minerals or whether they have heavy metals or other metals or things in their body that they shouldn't have that could be causing them health problems. I have brought a test with me today, and I'm going to go over it and try to explain it to you and show you some of the things that you can look for if you should get a hair analysis test. Everybody that took the test has too high a calcium, and you will notice on this test right here that the very first one, the very first line shows you your calcium levels. And even though the calcium levels are okay on this particular one, this is on a 7-year-old boy, most everybody has it go all the way up to the top of the page, and then it goes on and on and on. And the reason why you can tell is because of the numbers down here in comparison to these numbers. So the calcium on this 7-year-old child is okay, but he has no magnesium, and so he has too high a potassium. And I asked his mother, I said, well, why does he have such high potassium? Does he drink some kind of sports drink? And she said, oh yes. She said he doesn't eat very much fruit, and he doesn't eat salads, but he drinks those sports drinks all the time because he's into baseball. So after he had been on the magnesium, which he showed not at all on his test, in a couple of weeks she called me and said, you know what, he stopped biting his nails. And I said, well, a lot of times people, and that's all she gave him off of his test, she only gave him magnesium. And I said, well, you know, when people are low in magnesium, they can be real nervous and agitated. And she said, well, I didn't think he was nervous. And I said, but he had a lot of energy and he was bouncing off the walls all the time. And she said, yeah, but I didn't realize it was nervous energy. But after she had given him the magnesium, he quit biting his nails. But some of the other things that we found on the test that she was particularly interested in was he had way too much aluminum, and he has symptoms of cadmium poisoning. Now, cadmium poisoning is supposed to be as bad as lead poisoning, but I have never seen anybody with cadmium poisoning, and practically every child that I've ever seen that had a hair analysis had cadmium poisoning, because they pick up the cadmium poisoning from the back of their parents' vans or the back seat of the cars, because they're closer to the exhaust of the car, because the parents, when they take the test, they don't have cadmium poisoning. So that's where it's coming from. And then when they put the child in the front seat with them, then the cadmium poisoning starts disappearing. But she was real alarmed when she saw the aluminum, and I said, do you use aluminum pans? And she said, yes. And I said, well, you're going to have to change over to either glass or stainless steel, and the aluminum will start coming down, because I've seen people get rid of the aluminum in their pots and pans and aluminum foil and deodorant. Of course, he doesn't wear deodorant, and their aluminum starts coming down. Also, when people are low in copper and zinc, zinc and selenium especially knock out the heavy metals. I've seen people with mercury poisoning go ahead and take the other minerals that their test shows they're low in, and the lead poisoning goes down on their next test. So it does work. And the doctor who owns this hair analysis company, this lab, he has that written in his book. And his book is the finest thing that I've ever read on minerals and what they do, and the different heavy metals and what they do. And it's a very difficult book to find, but this is the copy of the book. The book is called Trace Elements and Other Essential Nutrients. It's not a very big book, but it is cram-packed with the finest information, and it's scientific information. It's not written by somebody that just has studied a few things about minerals and decided to write about the minerals. He has a PhD in nutrition and biochemistry, so he really knows what he's talking about. But some of the things that people have found out about on their test is that most everybody has way too much calcium. And this is on the test in the past year. And the year before, about half of the test had way too much calcium, and the rest of them had either normal or a little bit low calcium. So the TV and all the alarm about needing calcium does not relate to hair analysis. I mean, I think that people are telling you, giving you false information about taking calcium. I know I would never take calcium unless my blood test showed that I was low in calcium, or this test here showed I was low in calcium. Because when you take too much calcium, it makes you worry, it makes you have anxiety, it can make you a very disturbed person, and you get stiff, and your muscles in your feet and your legs cramp at night. So too much calcium really isn't a good thing to have. And most people have about a normal amount of magnesium. I very seldom ever see a hair analysis where they have no magnesium at all. I was really shocked when this boy had no magnesium, because he makes good grades in school and he's a very normal acting boy. And I just, a lot of times when people don't have enough magnesium, they see and hear things. And it's not that they're crazy, it's just that their brain is not getting what it needs. The neurons are not getting what they need. In fact, I have known of children who would, in fact, his mother told me that he would get out of bed every night and come and get in bed with them. And she said he didn't used to do that. So I said, well, maybe he's seeing and hearing things and he's just not telling you about it. And she said, well, I don't know that he's seeing or hearing anything, but she said when I was a child, my sister and I both saw like these ghostly looking things in our room, and we would hear like footsteps going through the hallway, and it would just scare us to death. And she said maybe I was low in magnesium. And I said, well, I knew a young man 3 years ago who had been to mental institutions. He was in his middle 20s, and he was having a lot of mental problems. He had been in a lot of institutions, and no one had thought to take a hair analysis. And so he did take the hair analysis, and we found out that he was low in magnesium. Not as low as this child, but this young man was in his 20s. And did you know that when he started taking the magnesium, he stopped seeing these beings? His family was rather proud that he saw them, because their particular religion believed in demons and devils, and they were very proud that their son saw demons and devils. But after he took the magnesium, he no longer saw them. So apparently if the brain doesn't have enough magnesium, then the body is, the mind and the brain is going to imagine things. But everybody has low copper, and you don't ever want to have low copper, because that means you can't fight off bacteria, and for women that means you're low in estrogen. And then the progesterone, that means that you cannot fight off viruses. I mean, the zinc means that you're low in progesterone, which is not good for men. For men and women both have progesterone and estrogen. Men don't have as much as women do, and they're not supposed to. But the zinc is what you fight viruses off with. So you definitely don't want to be low in the zinc and the iron. Now, if you're low in both of them, And the one that you're lowest in, that's the mineral that you take, and you take that for several weeks, and then you take the other one for a week or two, and then you go back to taking the other one. That's the reason why people who take multi-minerals and multivitamins with minerals don't have much luck in getting their minerals where they should, because the minerals work on each other and imbalance each other. So that's the reason why it's much better to get a hair analysis and take only the minerals that you know that you should take, instead of taking a multiple and taking a lot of things you don't need, which imbalance the other minerals. And then also, a lot of people are low in iron, and you want to be careful about taking iron, because iron tablets cause you to have too much iron in the blood, which causes a bacterial infection, because bacteria feeds on iron. In fact, the body will store the iron in the tissues to safeguard you when you have a bacterial infection. So you definitely, if you have a bacterial infection, you don't want to take iron. Just recently, there is a new liquid iron out that I'm very happy to know about, because I used to tell people that the best way to take iron is not with the tablets, but to get it from your food, like raisins or desiccated liver tablets or red meat. And that's a good place to get your iron naturally. But from there, and even the men have low iron for some odd reason. This past year, most of the men had low iron, and the women did too. But maybe people are trying to avoid red meat because they feel like that it has saturated fat in it, and so that could be the cause that they're low in iron. Also, everybody's low in chromium and manganese. Manganese is different than magnesium. Manganese calms you, and the chromium, everybody's low in chromium. I've never seen a hair analysis that had adequate chromium. And I was looking on the internet the other day, and they said that the agriculture department has said that everybody should be taking chromium, because we just do not have any chromium in our soil, so our food is deficient in chromium. So everybody should be taking chromium. My favorite chromium is chromium GTF, which is glucose tolerance factor. Some people like to take the chromium picolinate. It seems like the chromium GTF is better for women, and the chromium picolinate works better for men. But if you have like low blood sugar, then the GTF, the glucose tolerance factor, is very good for you when you take the chromium, that type of chromium. Then everybody is low in vanadium. If you don't eat a lot of tuna fish or a lot of fish, you're going to be low in vanadium. Some people eat fish practically every day because they know that it's low calorie and it has the essential fatty acids in it, and it's really good for you. So most people eat the fish every day, and they get their vanadium from the fish. Now, as far as the heavy metals, many people have mercury poisoning, and the mercury poisoning is something that is either coming from fish. In fact, on TV the other day, they said that they're asking expectant mothers to not use swordfish, halibut, shark, or tuna, because they're finding so much mercury in those 4 fish, and that it would really be well if everybody would forget to do that. Now, a woman in California took a hair analysis. Her mother suggested that she take it, and she had high mercury, and I asked her if she had any fillings in her teeth. She said no. And I said, well, do you eat a lot of fish? And she said, yes, I eat a lot of tuna. And so she found out that it was from the tuna that she was eating. That's really such a shame that that's happening. But we definitely don't want mercury poisoning. And like I said before, the children who are riding in the back of the vans are getting the cadmium poisoning, and of course the aluminum is coming from aluminum. Pans, deodorants, baking powder, different things. Even pickles have alum in it, which is aluminum. Now, this graph here tells you about your minerals, and this graph here tells you about your heavy metals, and then these are additional minerals that you really don't need. The only thing in these additional minerals that you should have is you need to have adequate amounts of lithium. But the other things you don't need. And the things that are really, that people seem to have problems with is they have gold, silver, and platinum, and people shouldn't have any of that. I have seen people wear silver jewelry all the time and not have any signs of silver at all. But I've seen other people wear just very little silver jewelry, and it raises their silver levels. The over here is the titanium and zirconium, and the titanium and zirconium is found in a lot of cancers. And people get the titanium and zirconium, it leaches out of the metal fillings in the teeth, and if you've worn braces or you have partials that have metal in them, you can get titanium and zirconium. But the one that everybody has is strontium poisoning, and it comes from toothpaste. You can buy toothpaste that doesn't have any strontium in it, and you usually have to get it at the health food stores. But if people don't want to use toothpaste, they can use the baking soda or salt with peroxide that you buy in the drugstore and brush their teeth with that. And of course, the peroxide will bleach your teeth and kill the bacteria. Now, a lot of people are using the MSM to brush their teeth with, but it's not advisable to use MSM to take it or to brush your teeth with it if you have metal fillings in your teeth. Everybody's getting the metal fillings out and then they're brushing their teeth with the MSM. I have seen MSM stop gingivitis in the gums within days. And of course I've seen it do many other things too, like if you have sinus problems, you can make a nose drops out of it, a teaspoon to an ounce dropper bottle, and put it in your nose, and it'll kill streptococcus and staph in the sinuses. And then when it trickles down the throat after you've put the nose drops in your nose, it will stop your sore throat, usually within an hour or two. I know an older woman that every time she gets a sore throat, she puts the nose drops in her nose, and the sore throat is gone within hours. It shocks her every time it happens. But this is what the hair analysis test is that I've been talking about all these years, and how wonderful it is. Everybody is delighted after they get their tests, because once they take the minerals that they're low in and delete some of the things that are causing toxic metals to come into their body, they feel so much better, and many of their health problems go away. That's the reason why I'm so enthusiastic over the hair analysis test. I wish that everybody in the world could get hair analysis tests. Another thing that's really interesting about the hair analysis test is copper, zinc, and iron have to do with mental, like comprehend things easily. Copper is for the right brain, and it makes you creative and musical and artistic. The zinc and the iron raise your IQ and make you left brain. And I know a lot of people, once they take the iron and the zinc they need, they tell me they were never good at math, but they're just a whiz at math now. So wouldn't it be wonderful if all our school children could have a hair analysis test and make sure that their copper, zinc, and iron is what it ought to be, and they would do such excellent work in school, because it really does make you smarter. I will have people call me and say, I can't believe how smart I've become or how artistic I've become since I took the copper, zinc, and iron. But they only take it if they need it. But practically everybody needs it. I very seldom ever see anybody that has, some people have enough iron, and I did know of one girl who had never eaten meat. She couldn't stand the thought of it, so she was a true vegetarian, and sure enough, she did not need the iron because her iron was perfect. And she didn't take iron to see that she got iron. So apparently she was born with adequate iron, and whatever her body does, it always gives her enough iron. Possibly she digests it well from her food, although she does not eat red meat. And I don't think she even eats raisins or prunes that are high in iron. But she does real well with her minerals. And she had the best iron level I've ever seen on a hair analysis. But now you know why that the hair analysis is such a wonderful test, that because it truly will solve many of your problems by letting you know only what you should take. Most people need 5 to 7 minerals, but as you see here, this child only needed 1 mineral, and it was magnesium, and he needed it in the worst way. So that's why I'm so enthusiastic about the hair analysis test. Another thing, if people are low in copper, their hair will gray early in life. And I've had many people take copper, and in a few months their hair starts coming in real dark. And they said, why is my hair getting so dark? And I said, that's what copper does. In fact, I knew a woman who is she was 96 at the time. She's 99 now, and she took the copper only a few months. She didn't take it every day, just several times a week, and she was totally white-headed, and after taking the copper for 2 or 3 months, her hair came back black. And then she stopped taking the copper because she was aggravated that her hair started turning black. She wanted her hair to be that beautiful white color, and she just felt like she had messed her hair up. And do you know that it's been 3 years since she had a hair analysis, and she still has that dark hair? And she's not very, of course she has white hair too, but she had the dark hair come in at the crown of her head, and she's kind of aggravated about it. So this is what the hair analysis is all about. It takes about 2 weeks for you to get your test back, and you usually send in a tablespoon of hair, and they analyze the hair and tell you everything that you need to know about your minerals and your heavy metals. Well, that's about all I have to say today, but I thought you might like to know what the hair analysis test showed since I started broadcasting a year ago, and so many people have ordered the test, and this is what we found. Too much calcium, low copper, zinc, and iron, low chromium and manganese, low vanadium. Everybody has aluminum poisoning. Some people have lead poisoning. Some people have cadmium poisoning. And lots of people have mercury poisoning. And then lots of people have enough lithium. Some don't have any at all. And then they have too much zirconium and vanadium. So it's a very worthwhile test, and it's something that we are so privileged to know about and be able to use. The tests have been on the market over 25 years, and I wish that I had known about it 25 years ago. I'm sure that many of my health conditions would have been solved if I had known it, because people say, well, I have this, 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 and this, and I said, don't even worry about it. Don't even talk about it. Just take the minerals that you're low in, and then later on you could check to see whether you still have those problems, and practically all their problems go away. In fact, most people lose from 5 to 15 pounds because it puts your body, once you take the minerals that you're low in, it puts your body into balance. So now you know why I'm so enthusiastic about the hair analysis test. It's really called a tissue mineral test because they use the hair as a tissue. They also can use nails, and they can use hair from different parts of the body. So it's been nice visiting with you, and I'm glad I got to share the outcome of all the tests that have been done this past year. See you later. Bye.